back to the AAA Race Show. I'm your host, Austin Aziz, Wheelie Rider, coming to you from the Stag Studio with my co-host here, Jimmy. We're coming to you with show number 37. We've done a lot of shows this year, folks, but this one is show number 37. So much to talk about. A crazy weekend over at Homestead, Miami. Saw all three series in NASCAR. We saw a crazy race for Formula One at Circuit of the Americas. It's going to be a super exciting show, and I cannot wait to go ahead and get started. Let's get started with the NASCAR Truck Series and Xfinity Series, which were both at Homestead, Miami. In the Truck Series, Ty Majeski takes the victory and leads the Truck Series going into Phoenix here in 2 weeks. Leads the points for the Final Four, so Ty Majeski in a very good position, as well as Noah Gragson, who wins in the Xfinity Series, and he leads the points going into the round of 4 and Phoenix, the last race of the season, where they're going to crown the champion. So I'm going to go ahead and show everyone. There you go. There you can see the Truck Series, and we can see Ty Majeski leading there. Head on over to the Xfinity Series. There you can see Noah Gragson leading there. So it's going to be really interesting going into Phoenix to see who can come out the champion, because we saw last year in the Truck Series a super exciting race. So it's going to be awesome, and I'm so excited. But let's head on over to the NASCAR Cup Series. NASCAR Cup Series, Bubba Wallace is suspended, like I said last week. Actually, I didn't say that. We didn't know the suspensions last week, but Bubba Wallace was suspended. But someone has to drive that number 45 car, and that would be John Hunter Nemechek. Now, John Hunter Nemechek takes Bubba Wallace's place and qualifies 4th in the next year NASCAR Cup Series car. That is so hard to do. We saw Bubba Wallace doesn't qualify up there very often. John Hunter Nemechek jumps in one of these and is able to qualify up front. Is awesome to see that he has that much talent. Definitely has a very bright future in the NASCAR Cup Series. He ends up spinning out early in the race, but he comes back and finishes pretty well. So John Hunter Nemechek had a great day. Watch out for him whenever he gets a full ride in the NASCAR Cup Series, because he is going to be scary. Well, let's move on over to another bad day for Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell. Let's move on over to there. Now, Chase Briscoe barely got into the playoffs. He passed Kyle Larson, and Kyle Larson went 5 laps down. He barely made it in. Right now, Chase Briscoe is in a must-win situation, along with Christopher Bell, which Christopher Bell was already in this situation this year, but he's going to have to do it again. He is currently 39 points behind the cut line. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the round of 8 points right there. As you can see, we have Joey Logano leading, of course, Ross Chastain in second. Then we have Chase Elliott and then William Byron. And now we can see in the back, we have Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell. Now those guys are both in must-win situations, so watch out for them. And they're going to be having no grace to anyone because they have to win. There's no stage points for them. And you don't carry points into the next race. If they make it to the round 4, they have to beat the other 3 contenders. Otherwise, they don't win the championship. So it's going to be all or nothing for those 2 guys. Well, at the end of the race, we saw Ross Chastain and AJ Allmendinger have a great battle. Now, AJ Allmendinger is a phenomenal race car driver, races for Colleague Racing. Now, Colleague has been doing good the last couple of years, and I mean really good. Running great in the Xfinity Series, so good that they're going to actually put AJ Allmendinger in a NASCAR Cup Series car full-time next year, so AJ will run the entire schedule and be able to run for a championship, which he's able to win sometimes whenever he is not even running for a championship. Imagine if he's there every week. He's getting notes from everyone. He's going to be a real threat to winning his first NASCAR Cup Series championship. And that would be so cool to see, because AJ is a great race car driver, and he really thrives on the road courses, which if we keep adding more road courses in here, then you never know if AJ Allmendinger could maybe make it to the round of 4 or make it to the playoffs, because he will be running that full season. But as we saw at the race, we did see a great battle for second, but no one was catching my driver Kyle Larson, who won both stages, won the race, and led 199 out of 267 laps. He led way over half the laps. That is crazy that someone could lead that much. We haven't seen that in a while. Someone just dominate, especially not this year. This year's been so competitive, but Kyle Larson's been really good at this track. His best finish at Homestead has only been second until Sunday, when he was finally able to get that win, and he did that in dominating fashion. Of course, Kyle Larson is not in the playoffs anymore, but could this be a spark of what maybe we will see next year out of the 5 team, and could they have another dominating year like they had in 2021? I don't know, but he did get a contract extension, so we will see if Kyle Larson can maybe bring home his second NASCAR Cup Series title. Let's move on over here. I already showed you guys all the playoff standings, but as we're heading into Martinsville, those playoff standings may move. It's probably going to move a lot. No one is safe besides Joey Logano. Everyone is so close, and you can lose so many points in a matter of 10 laps in a NASCAR Cup Series race, especially at Martinsville, how fast things change. We see Denny Hamlin, who is great at Martinsville. Their team's going to have to bring him a good car. We're going to have to execute on pit road, which has been Joe Gibbs' problem a little bit this year. But as long as they can execute and Denny Hamlin can keep that nose clean and make it to the end, Denny Hamlin has a real good shot at winning this race and securing his place into the round of 4 at Phoenix. I also want to talk about a little bit of controversial thing going on for the second week in a row. Now, we saw Martin Truex was leading at the last caution. Kyle Larson was his second. Now, Martin Truex gets end up spinned by Kyle Larson on pit road. Now, what I think happened here was Martin Truex just missed his pit stall, and he tried to turn down. He pressed the brakes because he did not go into the second lane to slow down in that lane. He should pull out of the speed lane at speed and then slow down in the other lane so that he doesn't get put in the back. It's not like Kyle Larson would have sped up and wrecked Martin Truex. Otherwise, that would have been a penalty. And so it would have had to been Martin Truex slowing down. So that was, I think Martin Truex just made a little bit of a mistake there. It is hard to see on pit road, but I don't think that was definitely not intentional from Kyle Larson. Well, that was a crazy NASCAR weekend, and I'm so excited for next week at Martinsville. Short tracks and hot dogs. Of course, I do love me some hot dogs. But it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna see some bumping, some banging. We always see crazy finishes at the end of Martinsville on these playoff races. Last chance to make it to what you've been trying to do your entire season. These 8 guys have to take advantage of their opportunity because they never know when they're gonna get it again. So let's head on over anyways, since we're done with NASCAR, to Formula One. Formula One was in Circuits of the Americas at Austin, Texas. Now this track is awesome. Formula One coming to Texas is awesome, and just everything about Formula One in America is so cool. We saw not what we normally see in a Formula One race. We saw some crashes. We saw really hard racing. We did not see anyone really get in front of anyone else and be able to really pull away. We saw some racing almost the entire time. Now, before we get into the race, I just want to show you something. Well, I'll tell you. Dang, that's a doozy. Dang, that's a doozy is brought to you by D&D Welding out of Buffalo, Missouri. If it's made out of metal or you need it made out of metal, D&D can fix it or make it. D&D Welding out of Buffalo, Missouri can fix all of your metal working problems in a jiffy. Oh, well, good evening, folks. I bet you're wondering where my show went before I was so rudely interrupted by the FIA. And it was a real weenie move. They ended up cutting my show short. So in honor of them, I will be installing a weenie pipe on my engine here for events this weekend. Now, we got interrupted in the middle of Dang, That's a Doozy, and I was pretty disappointed because we had a really cool Dang That's a Doozy this week. If you were watching the Formula One race this weekend in the United States, then you would have saw Fernando Alonso do an awesome wheelie off the back of someone's car. Unfortunately, the FIA did not like me showing their video on my show, so they decided to take it down. But I'm going to go ahead and we're going to try a different Dang That's a Doozy this week. So let me restart from the beginning. Dang, that's a doozy. Dang That's a Doozy is brought to you by D&D Welding and Fabrication out of Buffalo, Missouri. If it's made out of metal or you need it made out of metal, D&D Welding and Fabrication are the guys to go to. D&D Welding and Fabrication are located in Buffalo, Missouri and can take care of all your metalworking needs. This week's Dang That's a Doozy is this show, because this has been a total train wreck. Anyways, make sure you go check out the video of Fernando Alonso doing an awesome wheelie off the back of someone's car. And let's resume your program. Did put on a pretty cool stunt there, I will tell you. But in the actual race, Lewis Hamilton was leading coming to the end of the race, and I thought my prediction was gonna come true. Until Max Verstappen puts on a charging run, comes from 4 seconds back, catches Lewis Hamilton, passes him, and goes on to win another race this season, tying for the most races won in a season and winning the Constructors' Championship. Wow, Red Bull and Max Verstappen have accomplished so much this year, and Max Verstappen just seems to be unbeatable. No matter where he goes, no matter the circumstances, no one can beat Max Verstappen. Well, let's head on over to my favorite part of the show, and it's time for Austin's Absolute, where I look into the future. This week on Austin's Absolute, I will look into the future of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Martinsville. Let me look into the future. I have it! Denny Hamlin will win and secure himself in to the round of 4 and go race for a championship. And that was Austin's Absolute. Well, you see Denny Hamlin go to victory lane and win again this season, secure himself in to the round of 4. Would be awesome, but I'm pretty sure we all know there's no way that Denny Hamlin could possibly go to victory lane. I mean, in Phoenix. And here's number 1. Denny Hamlin has had an exceptional NASCAR career, and he's never won a championship. He has lots of Daytona 500s, lots of races won, lots of Final Four appearances, but no matter what he does, he can never make it to the round of, he can never win the championship. So I'm not worried about Denny Hamlin winning the championship this year. He may make it, he's going to make it to the round of 4, obviously, since I looked into the future. But there's no way he can make it and win the championship. That's not going to happen. Well, anyways, it's time to get excited. Get Excited is brought to you by Top Limb Tree Service. If you need a trim, call up Top Limb at 417-880-7867. Toby, Cheryl, and the crew will come up to your house, take care of all your tree trimming needs. They do a great job taking care of all your tree trimming needs, and with it becoming fall, there's lots of leaves falling, there's lots of branches falling, and it's been pretty windy. So if you have any branches that are scattered or trees that fell over that need cleaned up, then make sure you call up Top Limb. This week we have the NASCAR Cup Series. Will be at Martinsville Speedway and Red Hot Dogs. Formula One will be in Mexico, and Springfield Raceway will be having the Cash Money Late Model Championship. And as always, make sure you head on over to ORP-TV, where Mr. Craig Stagner can tell you all you need to know about all the local races coming up next week. Results, birthdays, and a weather forecast. Plus, he can tell you how to do a wheelie with a Formula One car. And so make sure you go check out Mr. Craig Stegner or PTV because they'll tell you all you need to know. And folks, I think that about does it for our show this week. Looking forward to next week's show to report on that NASCAR Cup Series race because it is going to be crazy to see who can come home with the victory in Martinsville. But thank you everyone for your support. Please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'm Austin Aziz, Wheelman for Hire, coming to you from the Stag Studio with my co-host here, Jimmy. Excuse me. And remember folks, this show is brought to you by whatever Mom's making for dinner. Have a great rest of your week.
If I gotta drive over the fool in front of me, man, to win, that's just racing.